In the mid to late 1970s, Harman Kardon came out with a line of three receivers that were incredibly well reviewed units at the time. And they're legendary receivers even today as far as vintage units are concerned. I'm talking about the 330C, the 430C, and the 730 twin powered. Now, I happen to have a 730 twin powered that I bought about 4 years ago, and I still have it. That tells you something. I have it in my as the heart of my living room, my secondary setup that I have in my living room. Having a hard time talking this morning. And I don't think I am ever going to part with this thing as long as I'm kind of into this whole hi-fi vinyl collecting game, and I don't anticipate leaving that realm anytime soon. Now, I bought my unit on eBay 4 years ago, like I mentioned, and I think I paid $275 for it, and I bought it from a guy on the East Coast, so it cost me like another $40 for it to be shipped here. But I'm telling you right now, the 730 twin power is a unique receiver. It first of all, let's talk about the cosmetic situation. This thing is sexy. It has the glass front with the green lettering behind it. It has a very cool, the power switch lights up in red. If you're using the tuner section and you land on stereo, there's a stereo in block letters that will light up in red as well. I love the silver, the secondary bottom portion of the unit with the classic Helvetica lettering on the control knobs. This is just a gorgeous unit. Now, one drawback, it did not come in any kind of a wood case like many of the Marantz units of the day. But this thing rivals Macintosh as far as just drop dead sexy looks are concerned. More importantly, let's talk about the performance of this thing. This thing is conservatively rated at 40 watts per channel. Twin powered kind of gives it away in the name of the unit. This is a pure dual monoblock design. It had a power transformer for each channel. So fantastic separation of instruments. There's incredible punch with this unit. I have never had to turn that volume dial up past, let's say, 33 and a third, let's say over 30% as far as volume is going. There's just an incredible amount of energy in the unit. Great soundstage. I'm using it in my current setup in the living room to drive some nice vintage Boston Acoustics A60s, and I've got a Sansui late 1970s direct drive turntable. Couldn't be happier with the setup. It's totally perfect for that size of a room. If you have a modest size listening room, you can definitely take this to heart. This is a fantastic unit. It looks drop dead sexy, gorgeous. And I'd stack the sound up against the 2230, the 2275, those very renowned, early to mid 1970s Marantz units. Trust me, I had a 2230. I no longer have it. I actually used it in a trade with my main amp here in my main room, which is the Macintosh integrated MA6100, which I love. But I am telling you right now, if you find even the 330 or the 430, Harman Kardons. They are sweetheart units. If you go to any of the usual audiophile forums, like HiFi Shark, that's one. I want to read a review. There is just a long stream of 5-star reviews for the Harman Kardon 730 twin powered. Take a listen to this. The king of receivers, much like the 430 twin, but with more power and clout. All the vintage units should be recapped and gone through by a tech. After that, you have performance that most receivers and amplifiers today can't touch. That's an important point about techs and doing some preventive maintenance. You're not always going to know kind of the ownership chain as far as if you're getting something off of eBay or you're picking it up somewhere at a flea market, whatever. You're not going to know. You're probably not going to have a set of original paperwork. You're not going to know how many people own this thing, what kind of listing conditions it persevered through. So it's important that you. I recommend finding hopefully a clean unit, bringing it to a local tech. Now, local techs, these guys are becoming dinosaurs. I have 2 local techs, thank God, here locally that I have given work to. One guy is a good friend of mine. We've traded equipment back and forth and done barters and trades, and he's also a very good technician. He's in his 40s. Now, the other guy here locally is in his 70s, and he actually used to work for Macintosh in upstate New York. He's retired here and likes to keep his hands busy and his brain working, which is fantastic. But I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years as far as able-bodied techs, if you're going to be able to find any of those locally. So take advantage now. If you have purchased an older piece of equipment, bring it in, do some preventive maintenance. It's important. This Harman Kardon that I have, serial number, I trace it back, it was a 1978 unit. What are we talking about? We're talking about, I think, 40 years right now. So I already have one issue that I want to get taken care of. The cool red indicator light for the power being on is the bulb is out, so I need to get that fixed. But I have had this thing looked at 4 years ago when I purchased it. Most of the power amp capacitor was switched out, and then some of the larger filter capacitors were also changed out. Those are kind of the 2 more expensive categories of capacitors, as far as I'm not a total expert on this, but a lot of these underlying and not as critical capacitors, they're 75 cents or $1 parts. The main issue here is the labor involved in finding an expert. Expect to pay between $100 and $200, maybe a bit more depending on what has to be done for someone to go through that unit and bring it kind of up to speed for where we are right now in 2022. But it's money well spent. It is consider it as preventive maintenance. You can do a search on eBay, and the Harman Kardon 730 twin powered units are, I think you can still find them for maybe circa $400 and up, depending on the condition and the cosmetic looks of that. Be careful, you don't want any kind of cracked glass in the fascia of the unit. But it's a beautiful looking unit if you can get a clean one. Love the kind of combination of that black glass background with the green, and then the silver chrome fascia of the underlying the control where all the controls are. I think I've talked enough about it. I just wanted to do a quick video on a very cool piece of vintage gear that I'm happy to have in my possession. It's a daily driver for me when I listen to records out in the living room. I can't always be here in the office. I actually have a much more comfortable chair in the living room, and I'm not missing out on anything with the setup that I have over there. So props and love to Harman Kardon. Those three vintage units, the 330C, the 430 twin powered, and the 730 twin powered, are definitely worth seeking out if you want to kind of build a vintage setup from the ground up. That's going to be the heart and the power of what you're looking for. And if you can find a 730, trust me, you're going to like it.